Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. I got up this morning and I read the news today, and most of it, I swear to you, I feel like we're in a parallel universe. Barack Obama now has a new nuclear policy, which I think ties America's hands and leaves us more vulnerable. I can't figure it out. And then the FCC fighting to control the internet with net neutrality. The good news is the U.S. Court of Appeals ruled that the FCC lacks the authority to require broadband providers to give equal treatment to all internet traffic. But the FCC says, that's all right. We got another way of doing it. We'll just regulate it like a utility. I mean, I can't tell you what's happening in America anymore. I just know that a framework is being rebuilt. I want to show you something here on the chalkboard. We all know that our country is having problems. We all know that there's trouble. Our house, it's a good house. It's a good house, but it's having real problems. If you're going to restore a home, as somebody who lived in Connecticut and tried to restore a home, you better be very careful on who you hire. Because are you going to tear it down or are you going to restore it? What are you going to do? Who are the architects? Who are the contractors you're hiring to fix that up? Tonight, I need to answer that question with you. Well, hello, America. Barack Obama has said that he is a free market, an ardent free market supporter. Remember this?
Contrary to the claims of some of my critics and some of the editorial pages, I am an ardent believer in the free market. Okay.
I wish I could believe that. I really do. I don't want to be the guy on television telling you these things. I mean, really, I don't. I tell you these things because I believe them. There's no evidence of that. None. He mocks anybody who calls him a socialist. Just last week in an interview, lovingly, almost reverently conducted by CBS's Harry Smith, he said the people like me, he named me by name, couldn't back up the notion that he's a socialist. Watch.
But that's not the vast majority of Americans. The truth is, some of these comments, when you actually ask, well, this is based on what? This notion that Obama's a socialist, for example. Nobody can really give you a good answer.
I mean, I can. I wish he was right. I really do. That there was nothing there to lead anybody to believe that he might have socialist or Marxist tendencies. I remember when I first started hearing about Barack Obama and his church and everything else, and I thought, oh, please. And the mainstream media ignored it. I mean, they haven't found a shred of evidence, but they haven't looked. But I don't tonight want to talk to you about his socialist tendencies, or is he a socialist or a Marxist? It really doesn't matter. Because once you decide he is, the argument will change to, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he is. So let's have this discussion. I mean, we all know that the House is broken down. So we need to take her down, maybe restore all the parts and build her back. But when you take down a house, do we have I don't even know, my chalk? Oh, it's a stupid box of French chalk. I hate the French. Right now there's somebody in a beret. What does she mean by that? If you're going to do this, you strip a house down and you look at the foundation. And you see what this foundation looks like. What is it? Here's a guy who we've now hired as our contractor who says he's going to fundamentally transform America. Before you would tear your house down, you'd say, wait a minute, what do you mean you're going to fundamentally transform it? It could mean that you're going to restore it and it's going to be great, but it might not. If your contractor says, just sign these things, don't even read them, would you do it? No. But here's a guy who signs bills into law that no one has read. In fact, Nancy Pelosi subcontractor says, oh, no, you just have to pass it to find out what's in it. If this was your house, you'd never do that. Tomorrow, I'm going to take a look at the specifics in this bill, things that they have passed now against our will and not even telling you about it. I'm going to show you what's in that bill and some of the other stuff that's already been passed tomorrow. Tomorrow, don't miss it. Tell a friend. But tonight, we know that our house needs to be restored. Our country needs to be restored. That's what we meant by change. Everybody knew we're headed down the wrong path here. We need to change course. But no one insisted on the answers to the question, what kind of change do you mean? When you have something as valuable as a house or a country, you ask more questions than our media has been asking and more questions than most people have been asking. Are you going to remodel the house? Are you going to restore it? Are you going to tear it down? What kind of contractor are you? Can I see any of your past work? Can I see who you went to school with? Who are you? I'm trusting you with my home. Let's look at the contractor we've hired. Let's look at his foundation first. What is he building on? What foundation does he have? I want to start with his parents. Now, as Barack Obama would say, let me be clear. I want you to know that I am in no means attacking his family. And in fact, I think after the first 5 minutes of the show tonight, you're actually going to feel sorry for the little boy, Barry Obama. The boy, the little one, this little boy. He's so cute. You're not going to feel sorry for the man, but the tragedy of this kid's childhood is staggering. His parents seemingly, from what you can piece together, his parents seemingly placed radical politics over everything else, including their little boy. I am not one to talk. I grew up with a dad who worked all the time. He was a small business owner. He owned the City Bakery in Mount Vernon, Washington. And the only time I saw him is at work. I work all the time. My kids come to work and we spend time at my job or we travel together. A lot of us do this. We have long hours and we support our families. But how many of us have been abandoned for the bakery or my job or your job? Would you ever leave your kid for that? How about how many of us have been abandoned for a Marxist political theory or politics? This didn't happen to little Barack Obama once, but twice. Both parents. Brace yourself as I introduce you to this man's tragic childhood. First, we start with Barack Obama Sr. This is the foundation of this man's house. Here are his parents. The little boy. Barack Obama Sr. Barack Obama Sr., again, not name calling, just telling you the truth. The man was a committed communist. To each his own, I guess. Now, he was only in Barack Obama's Jr.'s life until the age of 2. His economic policies have a familiar ring. He's a Harvard-educated economist, a Nairobi bureaucrat, Barack Hussein Obama Sr. He advised his pro-Western Kenyan government after he left this little boy. He went over and advised them to redistribute income through higher taxes. The apple doesn't seem to fall far from the tree here. He also wrote about his distrust of a capitalist system while quoting Marx. Now, that's his dad. When Barack was 2, this man left his son for a good Harvard education. And then he only visited his son once. I'm not sure if this is the picture. Obviously, San Francisco. Of his mother now, I mean, it's Dorothy from Kansas, right? That's what everybody says. Dorothy from Kansas. And again, I'm not disparaging his parents. We just have to get to know his parents. Obama said that she was quoting him, the dominant figure in my formative years. The values she taught me continue to be, keywords, My touchstone when it comes to how I go about the world of politics. Mom, my touchstone. Do we have the picture of Mom, please? Stanley Ann Dunham. There she is. I'm sure she was a great mom. She is his touchstone, the values and the things she taught him, his touchstone when it comes to politics. She was described by a friend as, quote, a fellow traveler. If anybody who reads about progressives and Marxism, you recognize that language. Her friend added, we were all liberals before we even knew what liberals were.